I'm going to tell you exactly what your fragrance collection says about you. Welcome back to another edition of my Psychology of Scent series, where we talk about how fragrance really affects us, not just on the surface level, but how it affects us subconsciously and what it says about us. As you navigate through life, have you ever stopped to consider, what impression am I giving? I don't think that enough of us value just how important how we are perceived is how we are received. Our presentation, how people see us, how people experience us, all has a direct effect on the results we get in life, and fragrance is no exception. So I wanted to make this a little more fun and informational without sounding like a lecture. So I'm going to talk about 3 fragrance collector personas that I created, and I'd like to know in the comments which one you most identify with. For me, I tend to identify with all 3 at different times, and this can be you too. But without further ado, let's get to it. Did you know fragrance is autobiographical? Yes, it's you telling a story about you. And what's more, the way someone buys, collects, or obsesses, even rotates their scent collection, reflects their sensory wiring, emotional needs, and their sense of identity. I know, right? Who'd have thought that fragrance was so deep? But yes, it is. That's why I stress the importance of just not buying or wearing or just collecting fragrances all willy-nilly. There's got to be a rhyme and a reason. So personality number 1, the hunter. This is the person that has the ever-growing fragrance collection, the one who's never satisfied with what they have, the one who's always on the hunt for something more, the one that just can't seem to pinpoint what the perfect fragrance is for them at any given time. Now, this was me when I first started my journey, and it could be a lot of you too. Let me know in the comments if this is the case. I would go down these rabbit holes of, oh my goodness, I'm going to watch this review. I'm going to look up this brand. This person's going viral. Oh, people are saying they love this. This celebrity wears that. And I had amassed a collection that was embarrassingly large. And I say embarrassing because it was a bunch of crap. I was not thinking about quality. I wasn't thinking about my own personal needs, even my lifestyle. Like, some fragrances are not even conducive to one's lifestyle. Case in point, if you work in a place where fragrances are frowned upon, you don't want to go to work wearing the boldest oud or anything like that. You want to have it toned down, and you may not have a schedule that permits you to really enjoy certain fragrances because of different restrictions you have on the type of occasions and events that you attend. And I just noticed after a while, I had shelves and shelves and bins and drawers full of things that I never reached for because A, I didn't have any place to wear them, or B, turned out I really didn't like them that much, or even C, it was redundant. I would have 3, 4, 5, 6 fragrances of the same scent profile to the point where they were so similar, it was just redundant. It's like I had the same fragrance 10 times. Waste of money, waste of space, waste of time, waste of energy. Now, the kind of person who would be a hunter typically is someone who thrives on sensory stimulation. And I want you to look at your purchasing habits, not just from a fragrance standpoint, but this does spill over into other areas of your life. Are you someone who has an addictive personality? Do you find yourself buying not just the item you need, but all the accessories that go with it, even if you don't have a direct need for it, just because you feel you should? This could be with electronics. This could be with clothing. This could be with any type of overconsumption. And I'm really seeing a lot of overconsumption when it comes to the personal care department. People have these whole closets and pantries full of soap. It's not that much washing in the world for some of these hauls and I can't remember what it's like, these organization things. It's like people will have all these different trends. If you find yourself hopping on every trend, take a step back and analyze why. Usually this comes from a place of being feeling inadequate. And I'm speaking from experience. I wanted to preface this by I am not a mental health professional, but I am a human being who has experienced the emotions and the feelings that I'm speaking of. So speaking from experience, sometimes we do overconsume when we feel like we have something to prove, when we feel like an imposter. People who deal with imposter syndrome tend to also have an issue with overconsumption. These things are often directly correlated. So my job and my goal as the Perfumista is to point out not only which fragrances are good, but what may or may not be good for you based on your own needs, based on your journey. I want this channel to be a safe space for people to really talk openly about their buying habits, about their fragrance habits, about their love for fragrances, and also about their love and personal growth journey as an individual. So let me know in the comments if that's something that you can resonate with. Let's keep going. Personality number 2, the editor. And this is actually the state that I'm in right now. I am curating my collection like I would a museum. I have pared down my collection significantly. My collection is so small compared to how it was a couple years ago, because now I'm only adding things that I truly like and things that I'm going to actually wear. I have been selling and swapping like crazy. And it feels good to rehome things that just don't have love here. I've got a couple fragrances that are for sale on my website, whistlenotes.com, that they just don't work for me. I got them at a time where I may have been the hunter-gatherer, getting things because I felt I needed it because I wanted to feel a certain type of way, or I wanted to give a certain perception that really wasn't me, and I really didn't do it for me. If you do anything, make sure you are doing it because it's what you want to do and not because what you think this is going to impress someone else. That is never sustainable, and it's never a good reason to do anything. Now, a person who's in the editor phase has a strong desire for clarity, self-knowledge, and most of all, control. You want to simplify things. You want to make fewer unnecessary decisions. You want to be able to reach and say, hey, this is something good. I love this. This is organized. This is me. Boom, I can go about my day. If you're someone who is a minimalist, the editor phase might be wonderful for you. And many collectors will use this as a grounding ritual. I actually find it very therapeutic going through my collection and analyzing. Do I really want this? Do I like this? What was my mental state when I bought this in the first place? Usually, when we think about the reason we bought something in the first place, it will tell us whether we should or should not keep that item. And that's just not for fragrances. This is for clothing. This is for handbags. This is for people. We need to declutter our lives one item at a time. My goal is to start with the fragrance because, it's something that I love, but you can always use these tips for other aspects of your life. Let's keep going. Last but not least, the shapeshifter. Are you one of those versatile people that loves a seasonal fragrance, or I'm in this type of era right now and I'm in this type of mood or this phase? This might be your collecting style. The shapeshifter indicates emotional flexibility and a strong connection between scent and identity expression. This is a very evolved person, I will say that. When you truly know the why of the what. Yes, the why and the what. You need to know why you're doing something before you do that thing. If you can or cannot justify, then that should be your roadmap to do or not to do. To be or not to be? That is the question. And these people use fragrance as a ritual. They use it to shift mindset, to shift energy, to even shift the tides in their favor. There are some fragrances that I wear when I'm going to certain events because I am aware of the effect that these notes are going to have on those around me. Case in point, there's some scents I would wear to a job interview, some scents I would wear to a board meeting, some scents I would wear on a date. There are scents and fragrance families and notes that truly do enhance your attractor factor when it comes to different social settings. Now let's talk about certain patterns that can give you a cue or a clue, or even help you know what to do when you feel these emotions so that you can not feel so triggered or impulsive with your buying habits. Blind buying often. Do you find yourself doing this? If you do, this often reflects a need for escapism, impulsivity, and just the thrill of possibility. For some, it's a dopamine chase, and for others, it's a way to self-soothe. People who often battle depression do this. People who feel, again, inadequate in some type of way. People who feel like they don't really have much to give or much money. When you feel you have enough to get something, even if it's a little thing, we can't wait to spend it. It's burning a hole in our pocket just to get something new. This is not a good practice to have from a financial and an emotional standpoint, because what's going to happen, and I felt this myself when I went buying a bunch of things that I really didn't need, you're going to be left with a closet or a dresser full of regret. You're going to have a bunch of reminders telling you about your former self, the person you don't want to be anymore. It's like that toxic friend that keeps whispering in your ear, you can't do this. Ooh, remember that time you were really messing up? Remember that phase in life you'd rather not? Yeah, that's what these items show over time. And I want us to think twice, even if we feel we don't have much, even if we feel what we have isn't good enough. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Use whatever you have. Ride that wave till the wheels fall off. Never feel inadequate or compare yourself to someone else because of a possession. Hear me well. I don't care if I had 2 or 2,000 fragrances. My fragrance collection, your fragrance collection, your whatever material possession collection that we have does not define us. We can rock a $10 fragrance with just as much confidence as we can a $1,000 fragrance. Honey, I do it all the time. Sometimes I will layer a celebrity scent with a Kriegler and hold my head up high and be smelling better than everybody in the place, okay? Never allow someone else's station in life, their possessions, their collections, to make you second guess your own value. I want you to understand that. Many influencers will come on here and flex the newest thing they got, and it's fine, no shade to those people. But don't let that be a reflection of you. Don't make you start thinking that I should be further in life. Now, it's one thing to take inspiration and motivation. That's great. But don't let it make you feel down on yourself to where you feel defeated. Now, this is the phase that I'm in. Researching for weeks before buying. I'm in the researching phase, and I think it came from me being in the editor phase. It's like before I add anything new, I really want to make sure. I want to make sure that it's not similar to anything that I already have. So I used to jump on fragrances the day they came out. Not anymore. Now I actually wait till several reviews are available, or I can get to a store and experience it myself before I go on and buy it. Because what I'm realizing is, again, the redundancy. I already had something like that, or this smells like this that I have and that I have layered together. I could have saved my money. And once you open and use a fragrance, you typically can't return it. So you're stuck with this thing that's just taking up space that's not even intriguing you because you already have it. But being a researcher signals a need for mastery and certainty. And there is nothing like feeling like you are in control and you are sure about your next acquisition. So people like this often use fragrance as a structured hobby that can bring order. Fragrance is now it's something that I love. Again, I went from a phase of just buying everything because I felt I had to have it. I was comparing myself to my favorite influencers. And now I'm like, these people don't even know me. They don't care, and they darn sure are not footing the bill for all the stuff I'm buying. Do what you want because you want to do it. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Do what makes you happy when it comes to the things that you are bringing into your life. And the last one, buying in waves. This is often a coping mechanism to deal with stress, to deal with different transitions in life and things like that. Usually the end of a relationship, the end of life for someone close to us. It could be a new job, a new home. Just a huge life event will often cause this. Oh my goodness, I got this new thing. Let me buy some fragrances to commemorate this moment. Let me give myself a reward because I just graduated and things like that. And that's fine, but watch that, because every life event does not necessarily require a reward. Make sure you can afford this, both spatially, make sure you have the space for it. Financially, make sure you are not going into debt. Do not go into debt for fragrances. I don't care how good it is. Do not go into debt for a hobby. Do not go into debt for a fragrance. It's not that serious. I strongly recommend not doing impulse buying just because we're in an emotional state. Retail therapy is real. I truly enjoy it. I mean, admittedly, but I have learned to control it so much more to where I understand why I felt the need to just go shopping. And it truly is a high and a low. You get that dopamine rush, you get that initial thrill of something new. And then once you crack it open and use it a couple of times, okay, what's next? I still have several fragrances now that I was just so excited about when I bought them. Haven't reached for them in a month. Haven't reached for them in a year or two. And so this paring down is actually forcing me to use those fragrances that I fell in love with at one point or another, but kind of couldn't see because they got lost in the shuffle of all the fluff. So I'm defluffifying. Yes, I love to make up words. I am truly curating. I'm editing my fragrance wardrobe, and I would love for you to do the same. But let me know in the comments, did you find this helpful? Is there anything you'd like me to elaborate on regarding these things? The science of scent is such an intricate subject that I love talking about it. I actually teach different classes on this. And if you'd like to come to one, you can go to my website, whistlenotes.com, and you can book one of these, whether it's virtual or in person. or even come to one of the events that I host if you're in the Chicago area. I'm having one April 4th. It's also on my website to get tickets to that. But I truly love what I do, and I love sharing this love with you. It's a lot of love, isn't it? And if you love this video, make sure you hit the like button and also comment, subscribe, and most of all, share this video with anyone and everyone. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because over here, we are building legacy through luxury. And until next time, I am Margarita, and you have an awesome day. Bye.